Hi guys, today I'm going to do a shave with my Feather Artist Club folding. I've seen some talk lately about these non-folding type, and this is what I have. My lovely wife got it for me for Christmas because she knew I wanted a straight, and I was talking about getting one from Whip Dog, a sight unseen. Um, so she got me this thing. I would never have gotten it. It's very expensive, but I really like it a lot. If you don't have one and you're thinking of getting a straight, it's not a bad way to go, but you have to keep in mind that it's different than a straight razor in that it's a replaceable blade, obviously. It's a sharper blade, at least in my opinion. I don't know. I'm still new at this, but I think it's a sharper blade. But the biggest thing is that with the Chevette, as they call it, or Shavette, however you like it, it is not very forgiving, and it's easier to cut yourself, especially when you're learning. The weight on these things is very light, but with this Feather, at least, the weight is very comparable to a straight razor, so it feels better in your hand. Some of those less expensive ones, you can get them for 15, 20, $30. They're light, and those use a half a DE blade. Now this one uses a special blade from Feather that's proprietary. You can get them from a couple of other sources besides Feather, but it's longer than the half a DE blade. I don't have one in front of me to compare it, but here's the package. Now these are the professional blades. Randy Vance was nice enough to send me some of these. He said that he wasn't using them, and you can see it comes in this container here where you can dispose of the used blades in the bottom. I forgot how to do this thing, but anyway, oh, there it is. There's a hole in the bottom there. And I guess the point was that these things are longer, so it's a lot closer to a straight. I have these Pro blades, and I had the light blades that she bought with the razor, and I found that they didn't work well for me. The light blades have less exposure. I don't know if you can see how much blade exposure you have there, but it's very little, and the lights had even less. And that's the difference between this and the straight also, is that on the straight you keep a very, very steep angle, very almost vertical to your face. And with this thing, if you do that, the blade doesn't touch your face at all. So you have to come out to almost 45 degrees, I found, to really be effective. And then, it's very easy to cut yourself. I mean, it's just quick before you know it. You got a little zing there, and you've got some blood. And it's frustrating, and it can cause you to, just go back to the DE and give up. A lot of people do that with the straight. They go right back to the DE really fast and give up. So I've been yakking for a while here. I guess I should, as they say, get my shave on. Let me turn off this. I've got the fan on in the bathroom. It's probably kind of loud. So I've filled my scuttle here with hot water, and the brush has been soaking. I'm just out of the shower. Today I'm at home, and I don't have a lot of products with me, so I do have my Bigelow. This is actually Parasso is what it is. I get this at Bath and Body Works, and it's probably about 10 bucks for this tube, and it lasts a good couple of months at least. I think it's a really good way to go. I'm going to put some of that in my scuttle, and like I said, my brush has been soaking. I'm just out of the shower, so I'll wet my face here as soon as I build up a lather. Now this is a tricky thing to me, is how much water to take out of this brush. What I find is if I take more out, I can always add some, and that works well, because if I have too much water in there, I wind up with a soupy lather, and that's just difficult to work with. Actually, this here, I got quite a bit of water, but I think this is going to be okay. So I'm just going to kind of mix this up a little bit. It'll take me a minute. I wanted to say, let's see, there's a couple of people I wanted to thank. I can't remember now. But that's one thing, if you're thinking about getting a straight and you're intimidated by all that work, you can try using one of these things, but the straight razor actually, I think, is going to be easier to work with. It's more forgiving. The biggest thing with the straight is you have to keep that angle that's almost vertical. There's a little bit of a learning curve even to the stropping, and I found that I dulled an edge kind of quickly stropping incorrectly. But honing is not that expensive of a proposition if you want to send it out. I find that sending out well, I did it once, but sending it out is better than trying to learn the honing for me. I think that's a whole big project there. I mean, you can do it if you feel ambitious, but I don't know about that. right now, of course, I said the same thing about the straight razor in general, and here I am shaving with it. That's what I wanted to say. As far as my prep goes, there's been talk about pre-shaves and different kinds, and I have several. And I use them, and I don't really see any kind of a difference. I've had irritation on my neck, whether I use pre-shave or not at times. There's things I'm doing to get a handle on that. So my friend Anthony Esposito offered me this tip. Let me wet my face here. And what he said was the same thing I saw in that book, some kind of a old-time book from the early, What Every Man Needs to Know About Shaving, or What the Man Who Shaves Ought to Know. That's the one. So in that book it says, take some of the lather and just massage it into your face. And that's what Ann had said, so I'm going to try that now and see how that goes for me. Yeah, this lather is a little watery, but I'll whip it up a little more in the bowl before I get started. I just want to get a little on the face here, and I feel kind of foolish massaging it in. I don't know if it really helps or not. I think that when I wash my face in the shower and I rub it with soap in there, I think that's what really helps out a lot. But I'll try anything to get a better shave. I haven't shaved in 2 days, so this is going to be a good shave today. So I'm going to leave this right on there. Just rinse off my hands and we'll go ahead and get a nice lather going on the face. Chris Bailey was talking about these expensive soaps and do they really make a difference in the shave. And I agree with a lot of he said. A lot that he said I agreed with. I can't even get that out. But one of the things I wanted to say was, you know, how is the soap in terms of fragrance and how does it lather? Those make a difference, even though they don't affect the shave per se, the end result. Some people enjoy certain soaps for various reasons, and I like my Art of Shaving, which I don't have today, my Art of Shaving Sandalwood Cream, because that thing just lathers up very, very easily, quickly. You get a nice lather, and it's got a nice scent to it. So that should figure in as well. Chris, I'm not sure if you had mentioned that or not, but I wanted to throw that out there, that even though it may not affect the shave when you're all done and you're rubbing your face obsessively for the rest of the day, the fact is that the soap, the scent and the ease of lathering and the quality of the lather do play a role. And sometimes, you know, whether it's expensive or not, the soap that you like is, you know, the one that you go with for those reasons. So here we go. We got a nice lather there. It looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that right onto what's been resting on my face. See if we can get a nice prep going here. Oh, that's a good lather. Oh yeah. Very sheeny. I don't want to say shiny because I've heard people talk about a sheen, and I didn't really know what they were talking about. But I certainly have a sheen here. I'm going to add a little water to the brush. Got my, probably should have showed you guys that, my Tweezerman brush that I got on Amazon about 3.5 years ago. And I have done everything wrong with this brush that you're not supposed to do. I've used boiling hot water to prep it for my shaves, and I don't know, all kinds of fun stuff. Dried it all kinds of ways. I don't know, it just works. And of course I got the white nose again. Oh, I hate that. I always get that with the videos. But I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off. That is not pleasant to look at all. Oh, and the other thing about the Shavette, or the Shavette, you don't have to dry it obsessively when you're done. Oh boy. With the straight razor, it's really a big deal about how you dry it when you're done, and so it doesn't rust. And it's a whole big production. Don't put it away. And so anyway, let me get my shave on here before I use too much time. So here we are with the grain on the right side. I'm going to stretch my skin with the opposite hand. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's definitely not a very shallow angle at all. It's pretty close to 45, I think. These Pro blades work very nicely. I gotta say that it's just over time I've gotten to the point where this thing just goes really easily. So I don't know. But you can't press with this thing, that's for sure. You're not supposed to press really with a DE or a straight either, but well, with this thing, if you press, the party's over. So give that a rinse. And like I said, with the straight, you want to watch that you don't get water into the hinge pins and all this other nonsense. And here with this thing, you can get it wet. It doesn't matter. You can just shave. So I like that. Yeah. And I found some interesting things to do on the neck here. I got soap on my shirt, but that's not a problem because this shirt's going right in the wash. Let me see if I can get this mustache here. And of course with a straight or a replaceable blade straight, you can get under the nose very easily, which is nice. So far, no cuts. Let's see if we can get under the chin here, under the lip rather. And that hair just comes right off with these pro blades. Now what I found is on the neck area, I always have problems with irritation, and part of it is because my hair grows inwards. So to solve that, I kind of go up, but then I kind of go across too. It's all how you hold it. I hold it this way, which is an upward stroke, but then I kind of go sideways. Somehow I'm able to do that, and I just discovered that recently. So let me try that and see if I can get that neck area going. I'll go up to that point, and then I'll come across with the same grip, but I got to get the other side first. And that seems to work for me. Let me finish this up here. Yep, now I can just finish up the left sideburn and down to the cheek. That one goes easy. The sideburns are just so easy for me. If I had only just that part of my face, I'd have it made. If I grew a beard down here, I mean, I would hate it and I couldn't do it for work. I would never do it, but if I did, boy, my shaves would be... I'd look at some of these folks that do these videos and have these beards and stuff, and I think, you got it made. All you have to do is this and this. Got it made. All right, let's finish this up here. Yeah, I know people keep telling me dip your hands in alum to get a grip on your skin. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it someday, but I just don't feel like doing it. So let's give a wipe over here. Get some of that soap off. And finish this up. I'll say one thing, when I started with this, I started first with a very cheap Chevette, about 20 bucks. And boy, it was just not a question if I was going to cut myself, but when, and then I'm just going to abandon it because I get so frustrated. But this here is just, come such a long way. So if you're starting out with a replaceable blade straight or even a regular straight, all I can say is Start with the areas that are easier, and don't be discouraged if you cut yourself. Just stop and go to the DE or whatever you normally use. But don't give up. People give up after 1, 2, 3 shaves. Once you get to do it, it's enjoyable. And I like it better than if you're using a regular straight, you don't have to buy a blade. You get the same shave every time. It's a little bit of maintenance, but you know, that's an enjoyable ritual, I think, over time. So don't let that throw you off. Let's finish this up here. You know what? That's going to be a nice first pass. Rinse off my face and see how it feels. I think that's a pretty good first pass. And the lather didn't dry, which I'm surprised. It took a while. So I'm talking to you guys while I'm shaving. But the lather still didn't dry on my face, so that's good. Wow. I got to say that I got a few spots, but a lot of my faces doesn't even need another pass. This is just fantastic. A little bit over here and a little bit down here, but other than that, this is just great. So I'm just going to do a kind of a touch-up pass. I'm not even going to do a full second pass, which I don't know that I've ever done a shave in one and change passes before, but that's going to be today for sure. Let's do that and a little bit down here. And this area is going to get irritated if I hit it too much, but if I don't, it kind of bothers me. It's itchy. I can feel the little hairs there rubbing on my collar. Normally I wear a collared shirt for work with a tie. Not working today, so. But still, it'd be nice to get it close. But this is just, and it has to do, the reason I got such a close shave is because I didn't shave for a day. If I let that hair grow out for a day or more, I can get a really close shave. But if I shave every day, which I normally do for work, then it's a little bit more of a challenge. So let's finish this up here. I mean, this is really, my skin is really smooth. This is fantastic. Who would have thought when I started with this thing here that I could make any kind of progress where I wouldn't just be a bloody mess at the end. This is fantastic. And when I say bloody mess, I mean literally. Some of you guys across the other side of that big body of water, when you talk about a bloody anything, it's something totally different. But let me finish this thing up here. Oh, and I wanted to say thanks. I put out some feelers in the shave groups about software to use to make these videos. Let me just finish this little bit here. Yep, that's going to do it. So I put out some feelers because sometimes the video goes long, so the way I solve it is I just don't film the whole thing. I just film the first pass and come back at the end. But I wanted to speed it up the way I've seen people do. And so I put out some feelers and said, what software do you use? I use iMovie with my Mac, and I downloaded a trial of Final Cut Pro, which is good for 30 days. I didn't use it yet, but all I want to do is be able to just speed through certain parts. And James Corbett was very helpful over in the Big Shave and told me, hey, look, I did a Google search and here's what I found, and it's pretty easy to do. And he was right. It was very easy to do. So thanks, James, for that. I appreciate it. And to all the shave groups, I think for the most part, really for the most part, everybody is helpful and friendly. I know there's some people out there that have been not so much, but I think for the most part, it's a great group of men and ladies that help each other, and it's a great resource out there. Of course, the problem is, and I posted about this, now that I've done this, instead of having razor acquisition or brush acquisition or soap acquisition disorder, now I've got to deal with, I want more battery life for my phone, and I want more data on my plan for my mobile device. So it's kind of a funny side effect here. All of a sudden, you know, I've got those two issues to deal with, and I never had that problem. And I'm always on my phone on Facebook, but with these groups and watching these videos and just constantly. So anyway, let me do my post here. This thing here, I don't have to do anything. I rinsed it off, so I'm just going to let it dry. It's fantastic. And you can see, I mean, it's just, the nice thing about this feather is that it, like I said, the feel in your hand is like a straight. It's got good weight and balance to it, but it is a little pricey. And the blades are a little bit pricey as well. But if you're going to use this as opposed to a regular straight, then, you know, that price isn't really an issue. And even so, it's, you pay for it once and then you have it. So I'm going to rinse off my face here with hot and then cold water. That was the hot. Here comes the cold. Very slick and smooth that face is. Get my Shave Nation Allen Block Geo, clear the runways. Always love that. Let's get a little water on this thing and run that across. See what kind of feedback we get. So far so good. Wow. Even under here, I can feel it, but not a whole lot. This is just wonderful. Unfortunately, I can't skip my shave every other day for a couple of reasons. For work, I don't like the way it feels, and neither does my wife. So I'm going to shave every day, and you know, but I'm getting to the point where it's less irritating, so not so bad. Let me wash this alum off. And the reason I'm using minimal products today is primarily because I don't have anything with me. I'm at home and most of my stuff is away, where I've been spending a lot of time lately. So I'm using what I have, but that works just fine. So here I've got a one pass for the most part shave that's really close. In areas it's completely smooth. And down here, you know what? I would call that a DFS. It's way more than just a okay for work kind of shave. It's very good. So I'm pleased with that. And I've got this stuff I get at Bath and Body Works. And I like it. Citrus, they have different fragrances. This is a citrusy, it's kind of like I guess you'd call it like an orange. This is aftershave and face lotion with Soothing Aloe Signature Collection. Bath and Body Works. I don't know if you can see that part there. There you go. So I'm going to throw some of that on my face, which feels very good. Plenty of stuff to do today. Throw a little on the noggin there. I shaved that yesterday with my gem. I'm liking that, but I'm going to have to get some more blades here. That's the one thing that frustrates me, is I'm trying to order everything in one place. I need to get a strap. I want to get some other stuff. And I hate to pay for shipping for small items, but it's kind of hard to find everything that I want in one place sometimes. So, I guess that's going to do it. And if you have any tips, suggestions, please let me know. But that is my shave with the Feather Artist Club folding handle. Just show you that. My hand is a little slippery, so I'm not going to show you how to change the blade right now. But as I said at the beginning, you can see the blade exposure is very, very minimal. So there's a tendency to press when you shave, and that's guaranteed to cause problems. And then the other thing is you have to keep the angle out probably about like that. You can't really, if you get up vertical like you would with a straight razor, the blade isn't going to make contact with your face. So there's a little bit of adjustment there, and like I said, there's always the risk of cutting yourself. But if you're starting out with one of these, my advice to you is to try just to do just this area here for right now on one side. And then you can decide about grip and hand crossing. Another thing you can do with this, and I should have mentioned, is if you have issues with grip, or if you're new, you're going to have issues with how to grip it, what you can do is practice with no blade in there. this thing here, you can just run it along your face, and I find that's very helpful. Practice with no blade. But it's just like a regular straight. And you know what? However you grip it, there's no wrong way to do it. Also, this thing is way more maneuverable than a traditional straight razor. I'm getting kind of spoiled. The reason I've been using this for a week now is because I sent my straights out to be honed to Bill Segrains, who's just a fantastic guy. If you need to have your straight razor honed or any light restoration, or if you have questions about the straight, Bill's the go-to guy. He's great. Fast service, reasonable prices, very helpful, generous guy. And he also sells the Gold Dollar Straight, which is a good way to get started. I don't want to make this a commercial, but I mean, this is my experience as a consumer, as a fellow wet shaver. And, you know, I picked up one of his Gold Dollar Straights, actually won on the Wet Shaver Review in the raffle, but I have since gotten two more, or one more, and then I got another one that's a Ralph Oust. And those Gold Dollars are a good way to get started, get your feet wet. You're going to need some sort of a strap, but you know, you can get one of those and you can get started. So I guess what I was saying was this thing here is very maneuverable, and you know, that's a big benefit to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.